Alright, so back to this, apologize about that. But as I was talking about, so the mechanic of fusions themselves, again, what it comes down to is that it's, again, gimmicky, but you seemingly can't really take advantage of that fact until late game. Just because then you kind of have the wider pool of like mons and stuff to choose from. Everything will be fully evolved by that time. So like during like this, for the story, the actual story, the like mainline game itself, especially since it's supposedly at, ends after 8 gyms, right? They're up to 8 gyms. There's seemingly just 0 point. So with that, right, that's what I wanted to bring up and talk about. The kind of other thing though there is that even though for like the mechanic and that aspect, it's like fundamental aspect itself isn't really that useful or practical, there still is a use and practical side of that. And what that is the fact that if you have 6 fusions in your party, you have seemingly just 12 fully trained mons, like Pokemon at like any time ready to go. So rather than have a party of 6, it's effectively like you have a party of 12. And because you can like defuse and like mix and match, right, and stuff like that, it's actually something to where it's like, because they gain levels at the same time, right? So it's something to where it's like you basically have just a party of 12 Pokemon, right? And again, it'd be something to where, yeah, you need to like reteach them some moves or something, but and then like stuff like that, but something to where, yeah, you have a much wider pool of Pokemon you can choose from than just your standard 6 because of that. And they would all be at whatever level you're, at, right? So it's like, or again, that they're currently at. So it's like, again, because they both gain that experience. So that's kind of, the practical and useful side of it. Um, so again, right, especially what would you call it, right? Once you're like planning out, gym battles and stuff like that, and there's certain typing, it's like, okay, I can just defuse, fuse, stuff like that. And again, that's seemingly, so again, that's seemingly the main benefit, or main, like, at least when you're playing the game and going through the story, that's what you get. Like, I know as of this point in the story, which I'm only like about an hour in, I have 2 fused mons in my main or my main Pokemon, right? And it's something where if I really want to, I could defuse them. I'm not going to, but I could defuse them and then have access to 5 Pokemon, right? And again, it's something to where, it only gets like, you only get more as the game goes on. So, and then with some of those typings, you can create some like pretty like nice typings. Like I have an electric flying. It's pretty nice typing, I have poison bug. That's not as impressive. I think it'll eventually turn to bug ground if I'm correct. But again, and yeah, the big thing there is that, again, you can basically have a party of 12. And I guess we'll see once we progress in the game, but that's where I'm thinking, this is going to come in handy or become real strong, is if you need like a direct counter to something, it's much more likely that you'll have it, given, you can just, not only is it 12, but you can also like combine like them with others. So it's really like you have what, 6 times 6 or 5. You basically have close to like 30 or 35, different combinations you can work with. And that can very much, change kind of how the battle works based on like typings like that. So again, so there's that, right? And I guess with that out of the way, I kind of want to go over, because that's just for that specific aspect or fundamental part of it. But I also, since this is my first ROM game, I want to kind of go over ROMs in general. And ROM hacks, again, rather than like, let's say, Insurgents of Uranium, where they basically created an entirely new game, instead, they just take the base, game and kind of put their own work over it, or, replace some stuff. So, like, for example, we're playing Fire Red Leaf Green ROM hack. So it uses that region and those characters. Again, we had a rival blue, right? Named him freaking Alex Yick. That's going to be hilarious. But it's something to where it's like, again, the big thing there is that, and this may be just because, again, I am used to and have kind of acclimated, at least with the first 2 games that I've played, to like fresh new regions. It's something to where it's like, I don't want to say that it's like, boring, and especially because I haven't played Fire Red Leaf Green, right? I played Hard Gold Soul Silver, and they had the Kanto region there, but again, never played those, or much less the original, Game Boy versions, right? So it's like, with that, the big thing there, what it comes down to is that it's like, again, though, it is still the same, and even if the story itself is different and the mods are different, right? You know, it's something where it's the same characters, and there is the question of like, what the villainous team's gonna look like. It's just gonna be Team Rocket, right? And it's like, but again, and that's why partially why I want to play this, because it's also like you have this like gimmicky mechanic, right, to kind of shake things up, but I don't know how like other ROM hacks would like necessarily play out, given that again, it just again seems to be that same, what would you call it, like region and or template used by all of them. So I don't know, it's something to where again this is kind of an exception just due to the nature of it, but it's something to where I can very easily see myself getting like bored of those like ROM hacks, right? Just because it's like, okay, you're just playing the same thing over and over. Like, I hate to say it, but it's like it's really kind of what it feels like. Again, this one I don't think will really be an issue, but for future ones, again, I have other games in mind that I want to play. It again raises that question of is it really worth it? Who knows? I think for this one definitely, but other ones we'll see. And it's like I guess, but beyond that, other than that, it runs fairly smooth. And having a fairly enjoyable experience thus far, and don't really have anything else to say about it. Again, it's all said and done, and all good there. So, with that kind of ends this one. Again, sorry about earlier. It was split into two parts, so it'll just be part one, part two. But again, and I feel like I was like again, I could get this one out of the way because I'll do one probably in around the middle of the game, and then in the end, and we'll see, right? We'll see. But with that, I don't really have anything else to say. So, yep. So, for this one, see you in the next one.